Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to a new week. This is Abigail Mensabonsu with your weekly Goddess Energy Forecast. So, this week, let's go ahead and begin with just the energy of this week, what we are working with. So, we are in Mercury retrograde, the first of the year. Woohoo! Now, a lot of people get anxious about Mercury retrograde. When you look on social media, you tend to see words like how to survive Mercury retrograde. But the thing is that Mercury retrograde is actually a good thing. It's a really good thing. I call it the cosmic siesta because that's the time that we're supposed to slow down and take care of ourselves, slow down and reevaluate our life, slow down and contemplate on decisions that that you are working on. Basically, slowing down and reevaluating contracts, right? Is a beautiful time to be in. So Mercury, as you know it, is the planet of technology, is the planet of communication, and it's the planet of travel. And so you can see that the energy will influence especially these areas. But I'm going to go through each of the signs and how Mercury is going to be affecting you. I'm going to keep it very brief and short because I want you to just focus on the important part. So how is Mercury retrograde going to affect you personally? So before I do that, let's talk a little bit about Mercury being in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is like the dreamy, spiritual kind, and Mercury being in Pisces is really drawing us into that inner world. So we are supposed to be doing some inner work stuff here, right? We're being pulled in. We're being directed to focus on our inner world. You would notice as your thoughts might be more in the spiritual direction, more in the dreamy state. And because of this, it might be hard to differentiate what is real and what is not. Being in that dreamy state, especially being in that retrograde energy, it might feel more of a fog than anything. So you not like a clear picture, is more foggy, and being in that spiritual realm too doesn't help too, so you might experience this. But specifically, so for Aries, this Mercury retrograde in Pisces is actually in your 12th house of illusions, right? And so for Aries, this is really going to be amplified, where you got to be careful what you got to be careful about what you're experiencing, right? You can't just hear something and jump right into conclusion, because everything is kind of wonky and dreamy state right now. So take your time with what you are experiencing before you react to it. Taurus, this Mercury retrograde is in your 11th house of friendship and community. So you're being, that inner work that you're doing is to help you really define what that community is for you. If you don't already have a community, it's time for you to, this time will actually help you to figure out, who do you want around you? What kind of community do you want to create around you? If you're a Gemini, this Mercury retrograde is in your 10th house of career. So the inner work is going to be really moving you in that direction of career-wise. Cancer, this Mercury retrograde is in your 9th house of spirituality, higher education, and travel. So you know how that's going to go, right? Especially being in Pisces, which is already in the realm of spirituality. So that part is really going to be amplified. Leo, This Mercury retrograde will be in your eighth house of money. So this inner work is really going to be helping you do some clarification on how to invest, how to create more money, how to get your finances in order, that whole thing. Virgo. This Mercury retrograde is in your seventh house of relationship. So there's going to be some clarification there in terms of relationships. Don't be surprised if an ex shows up or an old relationship shows up for you to clear up and forgive and release, right? But that's where you're going to be feeling the work in the house of relationship. Libra is going to be Mercury retrograde. It's going to be in your house of the sixth house, which is the house of health and wellness. So this is where this Mercury retrograde will really be affecting you. It's time to focus on your health and wellness if you haven't already. Scorpio, this Mercury retrograde will be in your fifth house of pleasure, fun, and games. So if you haven't been having fun, if it's been all work and no play, well, you're being directed to have some fun. So Mercury retrograde is really going to be working with you in this area. Sagittarius, Mercury retrograde will be in your fourth house of home and family. So your attention is being pulled into family, siblings, parents. The definition of family doesn't even have to be a blood family. What is family to you? Do you already have that around you, or do you need to create one? But that's where your attention is being pulled to. Capricorn, this Mercury retrograde is in your third house of communication. Now, this part is very funny because Mercury is the planet of communication, and it being in retrograde, it tends to be more of a miscommunication kind of thing. So be careful with what you hear and what you're speaking out. You got to be careful what is coming out through your mouth and take responsibility for that. And then we have Aquarius. Mercury retrograde is in your second house of finance and work. So this is where Mercury is really going to be helping you do this now because it's in retrograde. Remember, this is more about the review than anything. It's more about the making sure that you're making the right decisions when it comes to your finances and your work, right? And then lastly, Pisces, which the Mercury retrograde is in your sign. And Pisces, it is in your first house. And I think so the with Pisces, since it is in your house, you're really going to be feeling this. Like it's almost like this is your Mercury retrograde, right? You're really going to be experiencing that inner world work, like going deep within. But it's about sourcing from the divine, sourcing from the higher. What word am I looking for? Like the higher level wisdom, sourcing from that to create your world, right? Your physical world. So you're really going to be pulled in, and you got to be, you got to watch. You got to really watch what you're saying. Make sure that it is true to your core. Make sure that it's coming from the higher place before you speak it out. Make sure you take responsibility of what you're saying. Make sure that you're grounded. Make sure you're grounded because Pisces, you tend to fly away very quickly because you live in that dreamy state. But make sure you're grounded so you're not being swept away. So that's just a little bit about how Mercury retrograde is going to be affecting each of the sign personally. That kind of usually helps you because when you step into Mercury retrograde, you hear the overall, this is what this Mercury retrograde is going to be about. The question usually that comes up is like, how is it going to affect me personally? So usually that works. This one kind of helps you focus your energy. So this week, that's the energy we're going to be working with. But let's go ahead and move on to our goddess forecast. All right, so next let's go ahead and do some soul opening exercise. So this is the card in terms of the soul opening that popped up. So go ahead and grab a piece of paper and a journal and just taking some deep breaths in. And go ahead and look at the image on the screen. Make sure you take a deep breath in. This is going to open you up soul-wise, heart-wise. This is going to help you familiarize with your own inner voice. And so with this card, I want you to just take a look at it and begin to write anything that comes up, anything that you see with this card. Just write it down. There's no right or wrong answer. Just go ahead and write it down. And keep writing. If you find that you need more time to kind of tune in with this card and journal about it, you're more than welcome to pause the video and continue. All right, so now on top of that, let's go ahead and dive into the messages from the goddesses and who you're going to be working with for this week. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and place your hand on your heart, taking a deep breath in and tune into your heart space. And go ahead and ask, where do I need to place my energy this week? What do I need to focus on this week? 1, 2, or 3. And once you have your number, go ahead and taking a deep breath in and receive your message. And to share their wisdom with us, as well as to mentor us this week. The first goddess that came in is Yuki Onna, bringing in the wisdom of stillness. The second goddess is Mama Kocha, bringing in the wisdom of water. And the last goddess that came in is Goddess Metis, bringing in the wisdom of wisdom. So if you were called to card number 1, you are working, or Goddess Yuki Onna is mentoring you this week. And here is her message for you. The Japanese goddess of winter, Yuki Onna, calls you to a practice of daily meditation and stillness to prepare you for greater productivity and results. Being open and receptive, slowing down and allowing for time to dream activates your partnership with the universe so you can truly set your intentions in motion. Then, almost without effort, you discover, let's see here. Okay. Then, almost without effort, you discover your vibrational match in the world of form. Just as the life force quietly builds within the seed buried under the snow, so too will the energy build in the seed of your desires before manifesting with no effort on your part. You will find how easy it is to co-create while implementing a practice of stillness and receptivity. Let others make the first move at this time as you assess and observe the world around you from the profound position of stillness and neutrality. In this way, the world becomes more intimate, yet you know to take nothing personally. When the goddess Yuki Onna comes to support you, be still. This calls in the miracles. The action now is non-action. I believe this card is perfect for Mercury retrograde. So if you chose card number 1, you are in perfect alignment with the energy right now. If you're call to card number 2, you are being mentored by Mama Kocha, and here is her message. Here's her message. The world we inhabit. Oh, wait. Okay. The world we inhabit began from the oceanic waters of life and the waters that surrounded us in the womb, both of which are the domain of the Incan goddess Mama Kocha. Overwhelm and empathy overload has opened up a tidal wave of emotion that feels like it is threatening to engulf you. Feelings are unruly now, and you may discover that it's difficult to control them as you project their shadowy fears onto the screen of your life. The goddess Mama Kocha says your task now is to detach, step back, and allow your feelings to pass through you like water, without judgment or disapproval. Let your fears be washed away with self-love and understanding. The world can be a chaotic place, and uncertainty can create instability where people will act out in incomprehensible ways. Move to higher ground. Say no to engaging and wait. Now is the time to respond when you feel ready, rather than react in the heat of the moment. Let the goddess Mama Kocha's waters of life hold you up and surround you like the fluid did in your mother's womb. Let love be the answer. Let love be the water. Beautiful. It also, this card again, it supports that energy of Mercury retrograde, like telling you to take a step back, don't engage, right? Make sure that you just pull yourself back from the drama, right? And that's very important with Mercury retrograde, because people tend to misspeak or say things they didn't really want to say. That's because what am I looking for? It's like that shield or that veil they had before that kind of sweetened things up or helped them not speak what they really wanted to speak is off. So now they just kind of, they can't help it. They say it. And you can't take things, you cannot absorb these things, right? So if you were called, or if you're called to card number 3, you're being mentored by Goddess Metis. And here is her message for you. The Goddess Metis learned a painful lesson long ago and does not want you to go through the same experience. She chose to make herself small, dim her life force and inner light, and reduce her power to keep love. Who or what in your life is causing you to do the same? Do you dim yourself out of fear of reprisal, or because you have a sense that you are unworthy and unlovable, or perhaps too much or too smart? The Goddess Metis offers an important alignment task. You must face this fear, this anxiety, and say a resounding no. Even in the face of the greater story of cultural conditioning, be brave and courageous and ask how you can be part of the solution. Playing small is an excuse to not be accountable for your personal power and to not be effective in the world. You have an abundance of life force energy in you, so come out of the shadows and let yourself shine. Take the risk and bring your wisdom to the world. We need you. I love this card. It's always been one of those cards that really pulls me in, right? Because it really holds you accountable in stepping up, right? It reminds you that you no longer have that excuse to just be like, well, I'm hiding. I don't want to share my light because this person is going to think this way of me, or these group of people will reject me, because we're in the point where the world needs your light, right? And the sooner you step into your power, the sooner you step into your light, the sooner you can do what you're here to do, and the happier you will be, the more fulfilled you'll be in your life. So if anything, let that motivate you, that when you allow your light to shine, you are able to attract to you everything that you need in order to keep your light on. So far as you let your light shine, everything that you need to keep your light on will show up for you. Beautiful. So with this, before I end this forecast, go ahead and just place your hand on your heart. Close your eyes and I want you to just take some deep breaths in. Drop your awareness from your mind, from your forehead, drop it into your heart space, and see it as like this ball of light, or ball of energy actually. Drop it into your heart space, and as it touches the flames within your heart, it just kind of expands, opens up. I like that better. It just kind of opens up. I want you to just stay in this light and just breathe. Allow this breath to flow through all areas of your body, relaxing your muscles, relaxing your tendons, bringing relief to any ache in your body. Let it bring you healing. Let it bring you peace. That's the main thing here. Peace of mind, peace of heart. Just bring your focus to just your breath. And this light that is expanding within you and all around you. And while you're here, go ahead and extend this blessing to all who you love. So you can see like these beautiful ball of light. You can, whatever color it is, whether it's gold or just turquoise or blue, whatever color it is, fill these bubbles with that light and then send it to your loved ones or those that you feel need it. Just send it out. Keep breathing and out. All right. So when you're done, go ahead and open your eyes. And thank you for receiving this week's message. I invite you to share it with people, your friends, share it with your family members. And when you're done watching this, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and also that bell next to it so that every time I post a video, you will be notified of it. But thank you so much for receiving this goddess message. So much blessings to you. And until next time, have a great week.